Maurice Washington was elected chairman of the Charleston County Republican Party earlier this month. I sit down one-on-one with him for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and download my free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores.
Maurice Washington, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you for having me. As always, good to see you. You look good.
Oh, likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I want to go back to February 11th because the Charleston County Republican Party posted this on their Facebook page. It reads this, quote, "Congratulations to the new Charleston County Republican Party Chair, Maurice Washington. He's prepared to fight a battle of ideas and values, and we will win." From February 11th to right now, how do you describe you?
I'm still me. I'm the same kid from the day I was born. You know, you develop based on your upbringings, your neighborhoods, the neighborhoods that you grew up in, the teachers that taught you, the churches you attend, the neighborhood friends, your parents, your siblings. You're what you are today as a result of all of those different life experiences. That is just another life experience that adds to my full development as a human being. So there's really no major difference other than there's a new task, and I'm looking forward to creating some wonderful opportunities for this community as well as my party.
What's that task right now?
The task is reconnecting, not just to the white community of people, but the Black community of people as well, which is not going to be easy. I'm not naive in believing that African Americans, as a result of my election to the chairmanship, is going to flock to the Republican Party. We have work to do. I think we're prepared to do the work. I think our annual Black History Month banquet is a shining example of that, where we honor local African Americans for life achievements, personal achievements, however, never forgetting to reach back to make a difference in our community. I think the kinds of things that President Trump is doing and accomplishing, such as prison reform, is a good thing. Packaging that with reentry programs that are funded from the federal level, allowing people convicts to reacclimate themselves successfully into society. I also think opportunity zones pushed through the Trump administration, which will empower currently economically depressed neighborhoods, allowing new energy, especially if we can curtail any gentrification as a result of these neighborhoods becoming revitalized. I think our position on education and the fact that unemployment rate is at its lowest level ever for African Americans and other people of color, those are tasks that we have to build upon, accomplishments that we have to build upon, and I think we're ready to do that.
You talk about those opportunity zones. When you look around Charleston, what are those areas?
Well, each state in America, via the governor's office, has identified opportunity zones within their own state. In the state of South Carolina, I believe there are 34 to 36 identified opportunity zones in the state of South Carolina. About 14 or so are right here in the Tri-County area, the majority of which in Charleston County. So it goes by zip codes and poverty rate, unemployment rate, and things of that nature. So zip code, for example, 2943, 29405, parts of 29407 are part of these opportunity zones that qualify for such tax credits and the likes.
And I want to go back to the Black History Banquet. Obviously, you that was like overnight task that you had to get done because it had to happen.
Yes, sir.
And you just got elected. What was your thought process from the time that you got elected to the time that the banquet actually transpired?
Actually, 14 14 days out from the actual banquet date, we were wondering whether or not we could pull it off or call it off. And some donors came through, and we thank our donors. You guys are amazing. And it put us over the top. We always try to at least break even, because a lot of folks don't know this, Quintin, but the party, we fund the seed money of the Black History Month banquet. The party does. And it normally costs us anywhere from $17,000 to $20,000 to pull this thing together. And that seed money, before donations come in, come via the party. So after repaying the party back, dealing all of the other expenses and whatnot, we take the profit and we push it back into our community. Like Burke High School band, all of our vendors, for the most part, I would say 80% of our vendors are minority business owners, the printers, the coordinators, the performers and entertainers. So we push money back into our community as well. Not a dime, not a penny of what we raise go to fund political campaigns.
Obviously, as you know, and I've seen the email about what allegedly happened. Let's talk about it. There's some issues and some concerns about whether the Charleston County School District was a sponsor for the Black History Month event. How did an average person go about being a sponsor for an event like the Black History Banquet?
Well, you know, we're very, very proud of the Charleston County School District for their involvement. This is their second year as sponsors of the Black History Month. As you know, they sponsor a lot of community activities, right? The NAACP banquet, the Trident Urban League banquet, the prayer breakfasts, and this is another one of their community outreach activities, because with the Black History Month banquet, we donate to Burke High School every year. We reserve tables at no cost to Tri-County students, not just Charleston County students, but Tri-County students. The year where we had initially Ben Carson coming, for example, we actually purchased dozens of books on Ben Carson's life story to hand out to students as a gift, hoping that maybe it would inspire students from all walks of life to become the best that they can become in life. That's an expense that we took on. And we give back proceeds and profit to nonprofits and school activity projects, such as what Burke High School puts on every year. So I think it's quite appropriate for them to do so. And I'll tell you a quick story. The very first one we did, or the governor came down.
I remember that.
Burke High School band performed. And band director McLeod told me when they returned from the banquet to the school and the parents were coming to pick the kids up, he said kids were telling their parents, Mom or Dad, we saw a governor. We met the governor. And McLeod went on to tell me, he said, you know, Maurice, the sad thing is a lot of the parents of those same children have never met in person a governor of a state, but their kids have. So their sponsorship is quite appropriate. And for anybody to try to use that sponsorship as a tool to embarrass the school district, shame on them. Because what they did was something good for this community, and I'm proud to have their sponsorship, and we hope to have their sponsorship again next year.
I know, obviously, you used to be a politician and city councilman. You used to be on the South Carolina State Board. Do you believe it's appropriate for taxpayers' money to be used to sponsor an event like this?
Look, if there's benefit, taxpayers' monies are oftentimes used for the benefit of a community. Taxpayers' money fund welfare programs. Taxpayers' money fund home ownership programs. Taxpayers' money fund community development programs. Taxpayers' money fund all kinds of social programs. So this is no different. It's quite appropriate.
What is the typical amount of money that you will allow a sponsor to give to the Charleston County Republican Party on behalf of the banquet?
Well, we accept any amount that people wishes to give.
Okay.
Like I said,
Yes, sir.
we underwrite. Sponsors come in and does what? Offset costs.
Okay.
Right? The cost is obviously allows us to, it's what it is to pull this thing together and to give back something very special to deserving citizens of our community. It brings people together. We don't talk politics. We don't communicate partisanship. We bring blacks and whites, Democrats, Republicans, independent, rich, not so rich, young, not so young, together. And it's spiritual. The Voices of Deliverance always deliver a standing ovation type performance. And it's wonderful to see people of all stripes standing and worshiping and fellowshipping together and discovering that, you know what, in spite of our political differences, we have a lot more in common than we realize. And so just bringing people together in that right environment, honoring deserving citizens of our community is an awesome thing. We don't run away from this. So whomever is trying to taint this wonderful annual experience, good luck. We'll be back again next year, and we're going after those same sponsors again next year.
And let me get back to the Black History Banquet, because obviously you talk about those citizens that you honored. Which one of those citizens describes you as a person who's known in this community?
I think a little bit of all of them because of what they do. You know, Reverend Jimmy Gallant, for example, a former colleague who served on Charleston City Council, a guy who knocks on the door for years to deliver bad news to relatives of victims of serious violence, right? Yeah. Never, ever asking for a dime for that type of service. You know, always willing to stop, pause long enough to grab somebody's hand and do what? Deliver a prayer, right? An outstanding citizen. Dan Martin, another one of our honorees, and his work as chairman of the board of the Moja Arts Festival, you know, trying to give lift and creativity and support to that fine program also. Yeah. We honor you, my friend. I mean, look at what you do for this community. And who haven't Quintin Washington interviewed? Are you kidding me? Chief Reggie Burgess of North Charleston. Eric Watson of the Sheriff Department.
Jerome Taylor.
Tammy Curry. Jerome Taylor. Jonathan Green. I mean, come on. These are outstanding individuals. Eric Mack, chairman of the school board. You know, these are outstanding individuals deserving of the recognition that we give. And again, we don't do it for profit. We don't do it to rage political war or partisan politics. All of our profit go back to the community, and we make sure we spend the vast majority of the funds that we take in with minority disadvantaged business enterprises. We've sold out 3 consecutive years in a row. Yeah, you're right. And our first speaker, you may recall, Avita King, the niece of Dr. Martin Luther King.
I remember that.
And one of the funniest thing, one of the most precious thing is when we all have to stand and sing the National Negro Anthem. Everybody, white, black, doesn't matter. So it's a wonderful event. One that I always look forward to, and I can't wait for us to do it again next year.
Now, I got to get back to the money, because obviously I want to know this. Will you invite the Charleston County School District to come back as a sponsor?
Absolutely. Look, as soon as I can, I will. And I honestly believe that they will come back as a sponsor because they believe in community outreach. They don't sponsor any and everything. But they've seen this. They see what we do.
Right.
They see the joy that this annual banquet brings to this community and how it brings people together. You know, people who may never come across one another and have a conversation. This banquet breaks down barriers, bring people together for a good cause and a focus on an excellent cause.
And how many years have they been the sponsor for this event?
Just 2 years.
2 years.
This is only our third year,
Right.
and 2 of the 3 years they've been sponsors. And they show up. It's not just a sponsorship with an empty table. Hey, you guys fill the table. No, it's a sponsorship, and they show up from beginning to end, and they enjoy it.
That's great to hear.
And we, in turn, we push this type of activity out to extend, I should say, to local school-age
Right.
students.
Right.
And we give support there as well. We're very proud of this. So I know there's been someone had Channel 5 investigative reporter team to come after the school district, come after the program. And we're going to work that out.
Okay.
We have been in communication with Channel 5
Okay.
and say, hey, look, you're welcome to come in, take a look at our books, our spending, our honorees. And hopefully at the end of the day, you too will become a sponsor next year.
That's what I saw.
So, hey, we welcome this.
Okay, no worries. And let me get over to North Charleston because
Yes,
the big
sir.
event's going to happen tonight. President Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He's going to have the Keep America Great Again rally at North Charleston Coliseum.
Yes.
And I know the Post and Courier basically says that Senator Lindsey Graham will be traveling on board Air Force One with President Trump from Washington. The president is doing a campaign fundraiser to benefit Graham's 2020 re-election campaign and other GOP efforts ahead of the rally. When you look at the rally from the time it will start to, beyond,
Yeah.
what do you look at as a Republican chairman?
Well, there's a lot of excitement going on out there right now
Right.
as we sit,
Right.
as we speak.
Right.
And folks started gathering, as you know, since yesterday.
Right.
And the temperatures dipped down into the 30s last night. Didn't bother those enthusiastic
Right.
fans. It's a movement. They were there. I've gotten pictures and videos from local Republicans, African Americans,
Right.
who are out there on site. I've submitted names of dozens of African Americans to meet and greet the president in a more personal and intimate way.
Sure.
I'm very happy that that was asked of me, and I've been able to come through with that. It's going to be an opportunity for locals to see the President of the United States, and people are excited about it, and they're excited about his movement, as are Democrats excited, a good bit of them, good many of them, about Bernie Sanders' movement. He and President Trump, like Obama, they have movements, man, and movements are hard to stop. And that's why I think Bernie's going to be their nominee. And of course, Trump will be our nominee. And outside of a broker convention on the Democratic side, I think it's going to be Bernie and President Trump squaring off in the general election in November.
What do you hope to hear from the president as far as the latest news right now coming from this rally tonight?
Well, first and foremost, I hope to hear an update, a genuine, accurate update on the coronavirus. That's where you put politics aside and you reach across the aisle and you try to work together to bring about real solutions. So that's the first thing. I would love for him to go in depth on the coronavirus. Where is that situation, and extend a hand of fairness and working together with Democrats and everybody else to try to find real solution to ensure that citizens of our country and outside of our country are protected, and the U.S. is deeply engaged and involved. That's number one. Number two, I want to hear about his ongoing vision for America, and more specifically, his outreach effort to African Americans. How are you going to grow the economy that's continue to grow this economy that is inclusive of minority participation? I want to focus on education. I want to focus on community empowerment. So I want to hear a message of hope and a real vision for the future that includes everyone.
And let me go to Columbia because Republican leader Drew McKissick said this in a statement to the city paper. He said this quote, "We're thrilled to welcome President Trump back to South Carolina. For more than a year, Democrats have been running around all across the state trying to sell a radical socialist agenda." What's that agenda in your mind?
Well, a socialist agenda is basically government being more involved in the everyday lives of Americans. It's free stuff. It's free tuition and fees. It's expanded Medicare for all. It's health care for all. And those things really sound great, but nothing in life is free. Someone will have to pay for it. And if the government pays for it, then guess who's paying for it? The citizens are paying for it. So taxes goes up, less money coming into your household, my household, the average citizen's household. And so that free is not necessarily free. They're not talking about the dollar or costs associated with these type programs that they're selling as these socialist programs they're selling as freebies. They're not. And if Americans, black and white, understand the cost of and the impact to their ability to support their families, I think it would be resoundingly rejected.
I know earlier you talked about movements. What type of movement do you hope President Trump will have after tonight's rally?
Well, I hope the movement is still along the lines of the continuation of driving unemployment down for all Americans, especially African Americans. It's on an all-time low. Employment rate up. I want to see real and well-funded programs that deals with reentries of ex-prisoners under the early release program or federal reform, prison reform. I want to see real investment in minority business enterprise, access to capital, to start business, to grow business, to purchase homes, the kinds of things that he is now talking about as of lately. But talking about it is one thing, actually putting forth money to support the ideas is what I want to see more of.
And let me go back to the Charleston County Republican Party's Facebook page, which was posted on February 11th.
Yes,
it reads this once again. Congratulations to new Charleston County Republican Party Chair Maurice Washington. He's prepared to fight a battle of ideas and values, and we will win. What are those ideas and values now?
Well, look, I think in order for us, this is the party, a lot of people forget this.
Okay.
This is the party that was started in 1854. 1854 to push back against the expansion of slavery into northern states. It was a big tent party when it was formed, with blacks, Protestant whites, bankers, farmers, the whole gambit. So this party has always embraced for diversity and inclusion. And I want us to not lose sight of that and make it an important vision of the local party that, look, we're open to all. One of the first things I did, I think I was elected on a Monday.
Right.
I was.
Right.
First thing Tuesday morning, I reached out to Colleen Condon, the chair of the Democratic Party, county chair, and I asked her out to breakfast. And to her credit, she quickly agreed. 2 days later, we sat at Black Magic off of Highway 61 over breakfast, and we talked about, look, we're gonna work like hell to get our candidates elected and win back the first congressional district or them retaining the first congressional district. But at the end of the day, we still live in a community that we love. So as we do our political stuff, let's also do our community stuff and let's find things that we can work on together. And so we walked away, we made a pact. Look, okay, education. We're going to work together on improving education in our community. The hate crime bill that Representative Wendell Gilliard proposed in the General Assembly. We'll work together in support of the hate crime bill. We've agreed to meet once a month to talk about those things that we can jointly support, while at the same time trying to win congressional seats, state house races, Senate races, county council seats, the whole gambit. It doesn't have to be crash and burn all the time. We can have differences, but at the same time, we could find common interests that we could build upon and work together on to improve quality of life in our community.
Now that you're chairman of the Charleston County Republican Party, how many seats do you want to retain?
I want to retain all of them. I want to add to them.
Okay.
And we're going to work really, really hard to do just that. We're looking for candidates to run for county council, state house, state senate. We have our congressional first district slate of candidates. They're duking it out right now. We'll see what happens with that. Someone will emerge that we can rally around. But as important as the first congressional district is, those downline offices, as far as I'm concerned, are equally as important, or maybe even more important. County council, the government is closest to the people. The president likes to say, make America great now, keep America great. Well, the way you do that is you have to create an environment where great cities can flourish. And if you have great cities, you're going to have great counties. And if you have great cities and great counties, chances are that state is going to be great. And if you have that happening in every state in America, that's how you make America great again. That's how you keep America great.
Chairman Maurice Washington, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate this very much.
You're welcome anytime.
You bet.
Yes, sir.